What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and we have breaking news out of the state of Florida, as it appears that the First Lady of Florida, Casey DeSantis, is strongly considering a run for Florida governor in 2026. Yes, this is a real headline. This is not from The Onion. This is not from the Babylon Bee. No, this is NBC News reporting that, yeah, Casey DeSantis is actually considering a run for Florida governor in 2026. And apparently, big donors in the state, they're making a push for Casey DeSantis in 2026. I just cannot believe that this is a real headline, that people are actually saying, hey, you know what? Why don't we run Casey DeSantis in 2026? Now, before we continue, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. These are all great ways to support the daily content, but enough of the promotional stuff. Let us continue, because I am just shocked that this is a real headline. When I first saw this, I thought there's no way this is real, but no. This is on NBC News, and this is 100% a real headline. So let us get into it. Republican donors at a gathering last week in Palm Beach County openly discussed the prospect of Casey DeSantis running for governor in 2026, and for the first time, Florida's First Lady is seriously considering the idea. Governor Ron DeSantis, her husband, faces term limits and cannot seek re-election. There has been long speculation about whether Casey, a mainstay of the campaign trail for her husband, would herself one day run for office. But those plans seem to be coming closer to reality. 5 people directly familiar with the donor event and Casey DeSantis' thought process told NBC News. So it sounds like this is a real thing. This is not just, oh, someone said that he said, she said, he said that a donor told them that Casey DeSantis might run for governor. No, apparently they had a retreat with top donors in the state of Florida, and now Casey DeSantis is strongly considering running for governor. I would say this. I have heard donors have been urging her to run, and that while it's not something she wanted to do, they are causing her to at least stop and listen. A source familiar with their thinking said. Now, obviously, Casey DeSantis has not made an official statement on this yet. That's what NBC News is saying. They're saying they could not reach her for comment on this article. But the fact is, if big donors in Florida, they want Casey DeSantis to run in 2026. And the source is saying that, well, it's not something she wants to do. If I'm being honest, I don't believe that. You know, the reason I say that is not necessarily because she wants to be the governor, but because she has political ambition. Maybe not for herself, but for her husband. For those that don't know, back in 2023 and 2024, she was one of, if not the biggest reasons Ron DeSantis ran in 2024. Right? There, I said it. She was a big proponent for Ron to run in 2024, and she was one of the top advisors for DeSantis in 24, which, again, that campaign was an utter disaster, and it killed Ron DeSantis' political career. But she kept telling him, you can run, you can beat the orange man, you have a pathway, which in reality that was horseshit. He never had any real shot at beating Trump, and now his political career is all but dead. But now it's like, wait a minute. Ron DeSantis still wants to run for president. Casey DeSantis still wants her husband to be the president. Well, you got to stay politically relevant for that to happen. And Ron DeSantis is term limited. He cannot run for a third term. So if he runs in, I don't know, 2028 or 2032 or whatever, the problem for him is, at that point, if he's not been the governor for like 6 or 10 years or whatever, he's not going to be as relevant, and his already small chances of winning would be dead. Because you can't be out of office for that long and then make a magical political comeback. It doesn't really work that way, like maybe for Nixon. But does anyone really think Ron DeSantis is the second coming of Nixon? I have a lot of doubts. But either way, you know, Ron DeSantis cannot run for a second term, or third term, I should say. And that's not good for his political career, because at that point, in 2032 or 2036, he's politically irrelevant. No one cares anymore. His political career would be done. But if Casey DeSantis runs and she wins, she could just do what George Wallace's wife did in the 60s. I know, I'm not comparing DeSantis to Wallace or whatever, but that's what happened in Alabama. George Wallace was term limited, and then his wife ran effectively as a proxy for him. So he was still basically the governor, just not officially. That's why I think Casey DeSantis, she may run. Not because she wants to be the governor, but because, oh, wait a minute. I could still have Ron be the actual person in charge. I'm just a puppet. I'm the figurehead. I'm not actually doing anything. That's what I think would happen if she actually ran. That's why I'm saying, while it's still not a guarantee, I think it's actually kind of likely that you could see Casey DeSantis run in 2026. And it sounds like some people actually believe that there's a good chance that she could actually run. But again, it's not a guarantee yet. We got to see what happens. But listen, there's a chance that she actually runs, and that primary becomes an utter disaster. Because for those that don't know, there are some big names that are potentially going to run. But the main ones people should look at are Byron Donalds and Matt Gaetz. Those are the two main ones that may run. And Matt Gaetz has no real chance, of being honest. Listen, I like Gaetz, but sorry, dude, you're not going to win the primary, especially after the whole debacle with the Attorney General stuff. You're not going to win. So that leaves really one major candidate in the governor race, Byron Donalds, who I 100% endorse. I don't care what Casey DeSantis does. If Donalds runs, I am going to support him. And I believe he's going to run. It sounds like he's open confirmed. Yes, he's going to run for governor of Florida in 2026, and he's got a good chance of winning. But now that you factor in Casey DeSantis, this primary becomes an absolute shit show. Now, I should be clear that whoever wins a primary, they're going to win the governorship. Don't let people fool you about, oh, Byron Donalds is unelectable. Shut up. Whoever wins this primary will win in 2026. All right, guys, it's Florida. It's a Republican state. R plus 13, R plus 20, and it's just getting more and more Republican. So Byron Donalds would win. But this primary would be a very, I would say an utter shit show, just for the simple fact that it would basically be a Trump versus DeSantis proxy. Because you're going against Casey DeSantis' wife versus Byron Donalds, who I more than likely Trump will endorse Donalds. Maybe he doesn't, maybe just stays out of it. But either way, Donalds would be the more Trumpian candidate. And this primary would be interesting because you're going to go against Ron DeSantis versus Trump in the state of Florida. That's going to be a very fascinating primary, no matter what happens. So this is a situation where it could get interesting quickly. But I'm hoping it doesn't get to that point. Like, if Casey DeSantis wants her husband to be so relevant by 2032 or whatever, why the hell didn't Ron DeSantis just, oh, I don't know, pick himself as the next senator of Florida? He could have just did that. And I know that would seem bad optically, but worst case scenario, just pick some random staffer for that position, and then in 2 years, run and win the primary. That's all you have to do. But you picked Ashley Moody, who's fairly well liked, and you're not going to really beat her in a primary. So now you run the risk of having a primary versus a Trumpian candidate like Byron Donalds, who, by the way, is going to get support. He will get support in 2026. So, again, it's one of those things where Casey DeSantis better be careful. Because if she loses to Donalds, her husband's political career, it was dead beforehand, but that would be the final nail in the coffin. It doesn't matter what he does. If a DeSantis loses a statewide race in Florida, you can't recover from that. You cannot recover from that at all. It would be an utter embarrassment. It would be a disaster. And Ron DeSantis at that point, his political aspirations are gone. Throw it away. It already is dead. But that's the problem here. So while she wants to run and probably try to save his career, I don't think it's really worth it. I really don't. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could have just, I don't know, get rid of term limits. You could have just said, hey, let's get rid of term limits and be done with it. Be done with it. Should have had a referendum or something. And then he could have stayed as governor as long as he wanted to. But I don't think they thought about that. I think they just thought, oh, if we just run Casey DeSantis, nothing bad could happen. No, you run the risk of her losing. Because again, it's just because she has a last name of DeSantis, it doesn't automatically mean she's gonna win. And if she loses, well, that would be such an embarrassment for Ron DeSantis that he could never come back from that. He already can't. But if his wife loses the statewide race in Florida, that would be such an L that you could never recover from that no matter what happens. You cannot spin that in some good manner. You just can't. That would be an embarrassment. That would be a massive L. But I don't think they're thinking like that. I think they just think, oh, she has the last name DeSantis, and yeah, that will help. But if Trump endorses Donald's, do you think he's going to lose? If Trump backs him, if J.D. Vance backs him, if some congressman back him, do you really believe that Casey DeSantis would win against Trump? If Ron DeSantis can't win, do you think Casey could? Now, it's entirely possible that Donald stays out of it and Trump backs Casey. I guess that's a possibility. But it sounds like Donald's going to run. It sounds like he wants to run for the seat, and already he's getting significant backing in the state of Florida. So do you want to run the risk of, oh yeah, if we lose, my husband's political career is dead, he has no pathway to the presidency. Hey, do you really want to run the risk? Because this would be such an embarrassment that you just can't recover from that. But we shall see what happens. Again, we are many, many, many months away before we really get any confirmation about Casey running or not. But the fact that they really believe this is the best way forward, I just think just shows how incompetent the people around DeSantis still are. They really think this is a good idea. Could it work? Yeah. But will it? I don't think so. I don't think this is going to work. I think this would blow up in their face, and any chance of 2028, which is already dead, because Vance is going to run and win, your chances of winning at anything would be dead. You would be seen as a joke. No one would support you. Your political career would be dead on arrival no matter what happens. So be careful. If you really think you can win, go right ahead. But you better win. If you don't, well, like I said, your political career is dead. But just the fact that we're even talking about Casey DeSantis running to try to save Ron DeSantis' career is pathetic, but it shows you that his political career is dead. It's so bad that he needs his own wife to run to just maybe stay relevant in 10 years. That is pathetic, but I don't really feel bad for him. Ron DeSantis had a golden opportunity to be the successor to Trump. All he had to do was keep his damn mouth shut, support Trump in 2024 right away. On day one, when Trump announced, if he would have said, I support Trump in 2024, I am not running for president, he would have been the VP pick. There, I said it. He would have been picked as Trump's successor. But nope. His wife told him, if you run, you can win. And now his political career is dead. He had the opportunity. He was the successor. He was supposed to be Trump's successor, but he didn't keep his damn mouth shut. And now J.D. Vance is going to win in 2028 and probably win 2 terms. Congratulations, Ron. You blew a golden opportunity to be the successor. But again, we got to see what happens. Maybe Ron could make a political comeback out of all of this, but I don't think it's likely. I really don't think it's likely for Ron to come back from this. The fact that he needs his own wife to run just to maybe be relevant in 10 years, that's just sad. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.